The episode 4 trailer for Dune Prophecy has been released online, and it gives us a look at what we are going to be getting with the next episode of the Max series, set in Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe. Episode 3 was probably the best episode of the series thus far, and it gave us a lot of character details surrounding the past of both Valya and Tula Harkonnen. The next episode seems to be bringing us back to the present, and we get a lot more surrounding Desmond, Hart, Lila's Rozak poison ritual, and the Burning Truth prophecy. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you my breakdown for the Dune Prophecy episode 4 trailer, alongside my predictions and theories for what's to come. The trailer will be linked in the description of this video if you haven't seen it already. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my future content surrounding Dune Prophecy, Dune Messiah and beyond, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into my trailer breakdown for episode 4 of Dune Prophecy. So the episode 4 trailer suggests that we are going to be getting some reveals in the next week surrounding Desmond, Hart and the Burning Truth prophecy. We get footage of Valya putting in place a plan involving her own Harkonnen family in an aim to fight back against Desmond. Additionally, we see that Desmond is not done using his abilities on so-called enemies within the Imperial Palace. We also get scenes featuring multiple members of the Sisterhood who each seem to be having nightmares linked to the reckoning that Rakella has warned them of. And we further get clips of Keiran Atreides and Princess Yanez joining up to fight against Desmond's Sardaukar forces. So with these narrative points on the way, it's time to dive into everything that was shown in this newest trailer. Starting with Valya, at the end of episode 3 we saw that she had just arrived at a palace on Seleucus Secundus to surprise her old Harkonnen family, one that had conflicting views on her decisions in the past. After instructing Tula to kill as many Atreides for revenge on her brother Griffin, her uncle Evgeny Harkonnen, played by Mark Addy, labelled her as a sorceress and saw her as someone who was making bad decisions for their family. Valya did not appreciate the complacency nor the reserved approach that her family was taking and decided that action was needed to restore former Harkonnen glory. In episode 4, it looks like she is using her Harkonnen family for some plan that she has to get back at Desmond Hart. After being kicked out of the Corino Imperial Palace, she needs to gain back some political ground before she can restore her grip on power. In the episode 4 trailer footage, we see her talking to her nephew Harro Harkonnen, who seems to be on her side when it comes to restoring former glory. Valya says to him that no one is above the law, not even the Emperor, and that the future can redefine the Harkonnen name. We follow this by seeing her serving as Harro's truthsayer during political meetings. But on the reverse perspective, the latter scene she shares with her uncle Evgeny shows him telling her that she's a black hole in the family, echoing the same things he said to her in the past during episode 3. Valya replies to him saying that she will not apologise for her strength. So when it comes to the role of both Evgeny and Harro Harkonnen in episode 4, it looks like Valya is going to be dealing with a comparable situation to the one she faced in episode 3. Harro is trying to help her gain back some political power, while Evgeny sees her approach as reckless for the family name. But these efforts of political impact from Valya do link into other areas of the episode 4 trailer too, because we see that Desmond is aiming to squash these attempts quite quickly. There seems to be some kind of open meeting between the political figures at the Imperial Palace, with Emperor Haviko Corino and Valya Harkonnen both in attendance. Desmond tells the people there that there's predators in their midst, and reminds them that a hard line must be drawn. This is followed by individuals at the meeting being burned using Desmond's abilities, and one of those men is actually the same one from the meeting that Valya and Harro Harkonnen conducted earlier on in the trailer. So it tells us that Valya's plan to sway those against the Emperor and Desmond may backfire quite quickly. When it comes to what I think could happen following this incident, I think in regards to Valya, she's going to have to go back to Seleucus Secundus and use Sister Lila as part of her next move. I think she'll realise that Desmond is too powerful for her or any of the other sisters to remove from the palace, and I think the only option she'll have is to then use Lila when she does return from the agony. When it comes to what Desmond Hart is going to do next, it seems like it's going to involve the escalation surrounding his Sardaukar army. In previous trailers, we've seen Desmond leading what looks to be the Sardaukar into some form of fight. Now, while we don't get any more of that in the episode 4 trailer, we do get a tease that this will be the next thing that happens in the show. So I wouldn't be surprised if the episode ended with Desmond being put in charge of the Sardaukar forces to eliminate anyone who goes against the Emperor's grip on power. And that's why I think we'll see Valya retreat from Seleucia Secundus and go back to Wallach 9, where she'll learn of Lila's return and how she might be the key to fighting Desmond. But after Desmond eliminates some of the political figures that Valya seems to be swaying against the Emperor, you may be asking, who is Desmond leading his army against following those public executions? Well, the episode trailer seems to be indicating that Keiran Atreides, his rebel friends, and Princess Yanez are going to be the ones on Seleucia Secundus that fight back for the time being. In the trailer, we see that Keiran is plotting something with the princess, and then later on, we see that he is present during the public meeting with Desmond and Valya, where he watches on. During his first scene with Yanez, he tells her that sometimes you have to burn a thing down before you can save it, and Yanez replies by asking whether she can do anything to help. Now, this seems a bit odd to me because in episode 2, Keiran and Yanez agreed to not be together, as if they continue to, bad things will ultimately happen. Also, it was planned that Yanez would go and join the sisterhood on Wallach 9. Of course, after the fallout with Valya, the Emperor probably told Yanez that those plans have now been changed. So you could argue on one side that Yanez is frustrated and turns to Keiran and his rebels to fight back against all the things happening within the palace. We do see her and Keiran in other trailers fighting Desmond's Sardaukar, so it looks like we're building up towards that in episode 5. But the other thing that I theorise might happen in the build-up to this fight is that Keiran Atreides could reveal something to Yanez that we don't expect. This is to do with the theory that I discussed in my episode 3 breakdown, where I talk about the Atreides child who survived Tula's massacre in the past. That child was named Albert, but my theory was that he would grow up and eventually become Keiran Atreides. I think this could be the case, and I think Keiran will tell Yanez in episode 4 about what happened to his family and why he is fighting back with the rebels. If you remember back in episode 2, Sister Michaela told Valya that Keiran Atreides was a spy, and her reaction to that news was one of some shock. So you can already see certain links to that Atreides and Harkonnen history that we learnt about in episode 3. And if Keiran does turn out to be the child that survived Tula's massacre, then it would give his character more narrative purpose in the fight back against the Imperium. I might be completely wrong about this, but I just think it gives his character more motivation going forward, and it also gives Princess Yanez an extra reason to team up with him when they do eventually fight the Sardaukar. This brings me now to the other side of things, as in the episode 4 trailer we get some intriguing new footage surrounding the events that take place with the sisterhood on Wallach 9. We see members of the sisterhood, including Sister Jen and Sister Emuline, each facing some kind of nightmare. This links into Valya's voiceover at the beginning of the trailer, where she says that she feels haunted by the past. Now, I think this is to do with the reckoning that Raquella spoke about, and I think the vision that she and Kasha shared earlier on in the season is also linked into what members of the sisterhood will see. The reason I say this is because later on in the new promo, we see sisters drawing what they saw in the nightmares, and from one of the shots, it looks like they are drawing the blue mechanical eyes that both Raquella and Kasha saw in their visions. The specific focus on the blue mechanical eyes makes me think that this could be connected to either the character of Omnius from the expanded Dune lore, or the Ixian technology and how Desmond is using that tech as a Tleilaxu Gola. So let's go into this a bit and try and understand what we might be seeing. Starting with the history, 10,000 years prior to Paul Atreides' arrival, humanity had become increasingly dependent on intelligent machines encompassing computers, AI, and sentient robots that assumed an ever-expanding array of responsibilities. In essence, these creations were designed to relieve humans of their own thought. With the increasing reliance on technology, machine learning advanced rapidly, leading to a rise in the intelligence of machines. But this progress sparked resentment among the humans who were meant to control them. Ultimately, Omnius, the AI collective that managed machine intelligence for humanity, concluded that humans were ineffective and chose to disregard their commands, and consequently, the machines enslaved the human race. Following oppression, a group of insurgents known as the Butlerians, led by the inspiring Serena Butler, emerged to challenge the dominance of the machines. This uprising, famously referred to as the Butlerian Jihad, spanned a century and resulted in the loss of billions of lives. The Butlerians were deeply concerned that machines were on the verge of completely replacing humanity, which ignited a full-scale rebellion. For a century, a brutal war raged across the galaxy, pitting machines against humans. The conflict claimed billions of lives, but ultimately, the thinking machines were vanquished and Omnius was toppled. The war culminated in the decisive Battle of Corrin, which is how House Corrino, the galaxy's ruling family, came to earn its name. And the conclusion of the war brought about numerous consequences, with the most significant being the establishment of noble ruling families and the belief that humans should never be substituted by machine. Coming back to the show, in episode 1 we see the Emperor suggest against this viewpoint, saying that he thinks that maybe machines were outlawed too soon. And then in turn, Desmond Hart goes on to murder Pruitt Richese using his mysterious burning abilities. So it had some of us thinking, what if those abilities were actually mechanical? Me and many others have suggested that we think this is connected to Desmond being a Tleilaxu Gola using Ixian technology. And that's because in the main Dune saga, it's said that one machine got out of control and became too prescient, almost destroying the entire human race. This links into the warnings made in God Emperor of Dune and makes a lot of sense given what we've seen surrounding the Turan Arafel prophecy, Desmond Hart and his burning abilities, and the big presence of discussion around thinking machines. The episode 4 trailer has made yet another reference to those blue mechanical eyes, and now we see the sisters all drawing out that in their vision, and Tula looks on at their drawings terrified. So while there is a big chance that all of this is connected to Omnius and what happened during the Butlerian Jihad, I'm sticking with the theory that Desmond is a Tleilaxu Gola and that he is using Ixian technology to burn certain individuals. And the blue mechanical eyes is essentially linked to God Emperor of Dune with Paul's son Leto II Atreides. Leto II was hailed as the God Emperor by his supporters, while his adversaries, including the Bene Gesserit, labelled him as the tyrant of the known universe. Arafel is among the last words uttered by Leto II just before his assassination in God Emperor of Dune. He says, "Do not fear the Ixians, they can make the machines, but they no longer can make Arafel." So I think we're going to see the fear that the Sisterhood have towards this prophecy, how that links to the future with both Paul and his son Leto II, and how the events with Desmond Hart link into all that because of the Ixian technology. So overall, I think episode 4, which is actually titled Twice Born, is going to give us some big reveals. In regards to the title of the episode, I think we're going to see the metaphorical rebirth of Sister Lila, as we do get a shot of what looks to be her and Tula down in the tunnels of the Sisterhood Index, which is of course powered by thinking machines. We do see Lila walking out of these tunnels in the Weeks Ahead trailer, so I think she will be Valya and the Sisterhood's weapon in the fight back against Desmond Hart. And then the Twice Born title could also refer to the big reveal surrounding Desmond himself. In the episode 4 preview, we see a brief shot of a thumper on Arrakis, and we know that Desmond was somehow reborn after the sandworm attack there that he showed the Emperor. So I think we're going to see exactly what happened in that moment, and I think it will be Sister Lila who warns the Sisterhood about this truth once she does wake up. Again, I think this will reveal that Desmond was brought back as a Gola, that he's been using Ixian technology, and that the effect of all of this paves the way for a tyrant well into the future. And that tyrant is a reference to Paul Atreides or his son Leto II. We'll just have to see what Desmond does turn out to be, and hopefully the reveals we do get us really excited for the final 2 episodes. But that was my video breaking down the trailer promo for Dune Prophecy Episode 4. I will be posting my mid-season review for the series in the coming days, and while I will also be doing a full review once the season does come to an end, this early reaction will give you my initial thoughts of the series. I will also be covering Episode 4 next week here on the channel, and breaking down the trailer for Episode 5 soon after, so stay tuned for much more on the new Dune series. But if you've seen the trailer for next week's episode, let me know down below in the comments section what you thought of the new footage and what you think might happen in the weeks ahead. For much more videos and news on Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.